So in this video, I'm going to talk about velocity. In the previous video, I mentioned about and define speed. Here, I'm going to define velocity and discuss the difference between speed and a velocity. So speed describes how fast or how slow things are moving. And velocity describes not just only how fast it's moving, but it also has the information about which way it's moving. For things to be moving, to know which direction you're moving is important. So velocity describes not just only how fast it's moving or how slow it's moving, it's also moving in which direction. Am I going this way? How fast? Going this way? How fast? So that kind of a thing. So let me define the velocity and then let's share the screen. I'm going to get into the same note that I was using earlier, right? So this is speed. Says how fast it's moving, and speed is defined by distance over time, right? And is speed a scalar or vector? Speed is a scalar quantity because it only shows how fast or how slow it's moving. On the other hand, velocity is very similar to the speed. Okay. Velocity describes how fast or how slow it's moving. And in which direction. So it has the information about speed. This means speed, but it's not just only the speed, but also speed and the direction of motion. Direction of motion. Right? So that's what this velocity is. To find the magnitude, so then is that the unit is going to be the same as speed. The unit of a velocity is meter per second. If you're looking at whatever the distance that you're interested in finding out from point A to point B, what was the velocity of that object, you look at how long it traveled from that point to point B to point A, and divided by the time that it took to find the speed and the velocity. But then you say, okay, which direction you had to take from point to get to point B from point A. So the unit is the same as the speed, meter per second. But since it has the information about the direction, right? Direction of motion. So is that, what do you think? Do you think the velocity is a scalar quantity or the vector quantity? Right, so it's a vector quantity because it has the information about magnitude, which is the speed, and the direction. So it's a vector quantity. Let's compare the speed and the velocity. When you hear constant speed, and a constant velocity. I don't like it. Let me use the color. And then it's better. Sorry. Constant speed, something like that. Constant velocity. When you hear constant speed, that means the object is in constant motion. Constant motion, steady speed, right? Steady speed. But constant velocity means constant motion, steady motion, steady speed, say. But to be in constant velocity, it has to be in a straight line. It has to be in a line. Because if you, anytime you turn or change that means you're changing its direction. So to be constant velocity, you have to be just going in a straight line. And to be constant velocity, straight line with the constant speed. Anything that whenever you're turning, then you're changing velocity. You might be in a constant speed, constant motion, but you're changing your velocity every time you turn. So here, let's see. Then these ducks are moving. And let's say these ducks are moving in, here. These ducks are moving in a circle. Big circle. So this dotted line is the path of these ducks. This is how they're moving in this, along this path, dotted line. So it's moving like this, let's say in this direction, perhaps, right? These ducks could be moving throughout this travel with the same speed. It could be maybe moving in the same speed. Constant motion, constant speed, right? But because it's in a circular motion, anytime if it's in a circular motion, so it could be moving in a smooth path without changing in speed, just going around and around and around, marching with the same speed. No stop, no speeding up, no slowing down, just like a clock. But whenever it's in a circular motion, if it's in a circular motion like this, then that means that it keeps changing its direction. This group keeps changing its direction. So that means it's constantly changing its velocity. Speed doesn't change, but velocity is constantly changing because it keeps turning, right? So even though you can have a smooth, looking like a smooth speed, but whenever you turn, you have a change in velocity. Whenever objects turns, so okay, whenever the object turns, even if it's with constant speed. Whenever you hear term turns, that means its velocity. Does the velocity stay same, constant, or changes? It changes. Turn means change in velocity. There is a change in velocity, okay? So whenever it turns, the velocity changes. Of course, if you speed up or slow down, velocity changes. And then even you're in same speed, but whenever you turn, velocity changes. All right, so this is the end of this video, and I'll discuss acceleration in the next video. I'll see you in the class.